SEC Triple Crown leader. Texas A&M's been red hot.
Gavin Grohoback, Cade Sorrell, these two guys are dynamite.
Rearing back and delivering.
Texas is one of the best offenses in college baseball. Dylan Fuentes, he's outstanding.
Superstar Justin LeBron. Gone.
Breeze.
Go! I am the machine. I must be fed.
Nothing like it. The best college baseball tournament in America.
It's gone!
He caught it! What a play!
Heroics again!
You got the best of the best here in Hoover, Alabama. Let's get it on.
The road to Omaha begins in Hoover, Alabama. This is the SEC Baseball Tournament on the SEC Network, presented by Regions Bank. Day number 2. The heat is here, and so are the surprises. 16 seed Mizzou still alive, taking on number 8 seed Mississippi State after a sensational day 1 here at the Met. Missouri surprised everybody. First SEC tournament win since 2017. The Tigers brought their bats in a big way. And Vandy, needing a win to improve the RPI to be an at-large berth in the Big Dance, won its 7th straight opener here in Hoover. In the nightcap, Tennessee showed up with a pair of home runs in their opening win. And LSU, here at the LSU Invitational, said, don't forget about us. The bullpen shut down Oklahoma. And so those 4 teams, advanced 4, have already headed home. Game number 2 today will be Florida and Vandy. Then later tonight, we will see 7 seed Arkansas and 6 seed Auburn for the first time. Top 4 seeds get that double bye. Don't show up until Thursday at the earliest. Hey, look who showed up here today. Tom Hart alongside Chris Burke. Welcome to Hoover. Glad to have you off the golf course. And we get to see a Mississippi State team that still has a lot to play for. But as of today, they would be hosting at the Dude. Kind of feel like they need to serve to hold on to that reservation.
They do, but they're going to have to get past a Missouri team who was playing with nothing to lose. Tommy, you said they haven't won a game here since 2017, an offense that struggled for most of the year. They were awesome yesterday. And speaking of offense, Mississippi State has one of the best offensive players in all of college baseball. Ace Reese will be a first-round pick in the Major League Baseball player draft in July. And you look at where he stands, back-to-back 20 home run seasons. That's a list you want to see your name on, up there with Thunder and Lightning, Will Clark and Rafael Palmeiro. One of the sweetest swings in the game, and he has been red hot in May.
Well, speaking of swings, Missouri came out red hot, and I think surprised some people with the way they jumped all over the pitching they saw.
Yeah, pretty interesting the way they swung the bat. 10 runs, 3 homers, 14 hits, tied their season high in SEC play in all those categories. We're in for a fun one here this morning, Tommy.
And indeed, and here's the lineup that Carrick Jackson has put together today for Mizzou. 10 runs against Ole Miss, second most in an SEC tournament game. Matched their season high with 10 runs against an SEC opponent this year. The ball was really carrying yesterday. We'll see if that's the case as we get started this morning in day number 2. Well, State's got an ace on the mound for this one. This is Tomas Valinkas. Last 2 games, 20 strikeouts to just 1 walk. The 6'2 lefty comes in with a 9-2 record, an ERA just over 3, and a WHIP of 1.05. What do you like best?
Well, an all SEC performer, and you talk about a guy that can run the fastball up to 95 miles an hour. What I like best is how he can mix and match, Tommy. He's got the slider for the left-handers. He's got the changeup for the right-handers. It is primarily sinker slider, as you see there with the graph, but he will throw that changeup to right-handers. As we take a look at him, does one of the best jobs at tunneling the fastball and slider in the Southeastern Conference. Fastball, again, up to 95 miles an hour. He's going to break that slider right off of it. When you pause it at the release point, there's really no tip to the hitter as to which pitch it's going to be. Right there at release, it could be either one. The fastball holds its line, the slider disappears, and that's a tough combo that's been carving up the SEC all season long.
Well, Missouri had no issues with Ole Miss pitching yesterday. They had at least 1 base runner in every inning against the Rebels. First time they've done that in an SEC game this season. Tigers went 3 up, 3 down in 96 innings during conference play. That was the most in the SEC. What's the key to an early start on the clock?
Yeah, meaning the time of the day. I think getting up early, like it's a point where there is a lot of adrenaline for an early start, but you got to give your body kind of time to acclimate to the clock, as you said, Tommy. And so I think for Missouri, 2 days in a row feels like that's to their advantage.
It's already toasty out, even though we've got some cloud cover, 80 degrees, and the feel-like temperature already 84. We'll climb into the upper 80s before all is said and done today. Missouri coming off of the 10-8 win against Ole Miss. It was just their 4th win in their last 20 games. And first pitch strike to Jace Woida, 95 miles an hour, and the pitch from Tomas Valinkas. Woida homered yesterday, one of his 2 hits. He ended up 2 for 5. Now 13 home runs on the season. The Missouri team that got off to a great start in non-conference play. Tigers won 15 of their first 17 games of the season, then started league play, got swept by Auburn, and labored through a 6-24 conference campaign, though it was double the win total from last year. Carrick Jackson told his guys yesterday after the win, enjoy it, but don't celebrate it. We didn't come here to win one, so enjoy the win and understand that. Let's come out tomorrow and get another. 1-2 to Woida. And a little flare in foul territory.
Show me something.
Shift. Valinkas.
Oh, careful now. Brian O'Connor holding his breath. Tommy, there's some things that you absolutely do not want to happen here at the SEC tournament, and your ace getting hurt, diving head first for a pop-up with the first hitter of the game is one of them. Man, you got some shoulders exposed. Oak, he's handling that one pretty cool, but his heart had to skip a beat there.
Well, listen, Valinkas dirtied the front of the uniform. He came out with the back of the uniform already dirty. Was he doing sit-ups in the mud or something?
It's a fair question.
Now he looks like a ball player. 1-2 to Woida.
Yeah, like I'm into this look. We are 5 pitches into the ball game, and the starting pitcher looks like Craig Biggio after a Sunday doubleheader. Like this is fantastic.
Woida transferred in from South Carolina. Nebraska native sends a roller up the middle. To second baseman Garrett Fry to handle it, and 1 down. Still trying to clean up after the going across the cinders.
Getting the clay off of his hand. We got some blood. I mean, I'm into the whole deal here.
You know, I'm curious.
Yeah, he is bleeding. We get some serious blood on the right forearm.
I'm curious if he scraped up his pitching hand. The way he was looking at it after that ball was put in play. Obviously, the forearm would not be an issue for a pitcher besides being an irritant. But if there's anything on that hand.
Can I just say that if you're willing to take a header on the first play of the game, you actually love that you're bleeding right now. Like I think those two things work together. He's clearly not worried about bandage or stopping the bleeding.
Brian O'Connor's like, what are we doing? It's not a UCF fight. We're not supposed to be bleeding with the starting pitcher. If you join us late, here's Valinkas.
Just lay it on the line. Yeah, you see that right forearm definitely took the bulk of that fall there. And yeah, we got some dude points right out of the gate here on a Wednesday morning.
Durnin reached base all 5 times yesterday and hit a home run, and he sends this one deep to center field and is gone. Cam Durnin is red hot, and Missouri strikes first.
Goodness, Cam Durnin.
Here's Cam Durnin's 2 days in Hoover so far. Walk, home run, walk, single run scored, home run.
Well, since May 1st, only one hitter has gotten on base more than Cam Durnin, and that is Daniel Jackson, your player of the year. This is a two-seamer that just kind of sits in the middle of the plate. And how about the juice to run it out of here to Central, gather and release. Love that beautiful hold-off finish, and that is a no-doubter off the batter's eye.
Blaze Ward looks at a first pitch strike. Missouri came in with nothing to lose. They're playing like it.
Okay. You have our attention, Mizzou.
Blaze Ward, true freshman, Maumelle High School in Maumelle, Arkansas, just outside of Little Rock, and he takes a strike. Ward got hit by a pitch right around the right hip, upper groin yesterday, and ran the bases for a moment, but then left the game. I think she fouled it off of his hip and goes down swinging there, 2 down.
Well, that's going to be something to watch is how the Missouri left-handers handle Tomas Valinkis. I mean, on the season, neither side of the plate has had much success, but you just don't see a lot of breaking balls that are as sharp as Valinkis. And so, especially for a young left-handed hitter like Blaze Ward, that is a really tough matchup.
And Mateo Cerna,
one of the stars of yesterday, was he not?
ABS superstar. Oh, by the way, he also had 3 hits and drove in a pair. 10 runs on 14 hits for Missouri yesterday. We'll go over Cerna's antics behind the plate and how good he was when they get out there defensively. But Berkey, this is a guy that's bringing value to the position.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, being an umpire is anything on his radar, but I think he made a pretty good case for it yesterday.
If you weren't with us yesterday, we have the ABS challenge system in play for the first time in college baseball. What was your take on it overall yesterday?
I'm a huge fan. I think it adds value to the sport, not only to know that we're getting the calls right, but also I think the fans love it.
Here's Ryder Woodson at shortstop, and Cerna retire, but Cam Durnan at yard, nighttime this season.
Come on, Cam Durnan, get the party started early here. A launch piece to Central. The Tigers are up 1 early.
The beast with the power, like lightning run through my head. I got the need to devour. I am the machine.
First year Mississippi State head coach Brian O'Connor. First ever trip to Hoover. Went to Omaha 7 times to the UVA, won it all in 2015, and he has put together a fantastic season here in year number 1 and still building. 39-16 and 16-14 in league play. Noah Sullivan hits in the 3-hole, and he's hit 300 or better in all 5 seasons of his college career. The top of this lineup is real, and one of the reasons that State has gotten off to quick starts this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at Fry, Reese, and Sullivan, all of those guys have been really good in conference play. And as you said, Tommy, this Mississippi State offense, one of the best in the country. And boy, do they come at you early with some real slug.
Here's Brady Kellenbrink, the sophomore from Baldwin, Missouri, 6'2", 205, 3-9 with a 6.69 ERA. He has struck out 92 in 70 innings pitched, and that drop line shows why.
Yeah, you look at the changeup can be a real weapon versus the right-handers. He's going to throw you 5 pitches: a cutter, curveball, slider, and changeup as well. But it's premium stuff, and even though the numbers don't necessarily dictate it, he's got the kind of stuff that can make it tough on a lineup from both sides of the plate.
Great work on your pie charts this morning. You must have gotten up early.
I can't take credit for it. We'll give the folks at True Media and the great Joe McCoy the credit for putting that together.
So Garrick Fry in the leadoff spot. It'll be Fry and then superstar Ace Reese, followed by Sullivan. Jeff Wright's got the plate and a first pitch strike to Fry. Senior from Alpharetta, Georgia, at a South Forsyth High School. He started his college career at North Alabama. Fouls one straight back. Big time Braves fan, being from the Atlanta area. 0-2. First name Gehrig. Yes, he was named after Lou Gehrig. That was his grandpa's favorite player. And he sends this one deep to left field. Jamal George has it in his sights. One down.
It's got that feeling here. Every ball that has decent trajectory, you just kind of hold your breath. That one, I think, was off the end of the bat, a changeup that he maybe caught just a touch towards the end. But, man, has it been offensive here. 14 homers yesterday.
And the wind wasn't blowing out. I mean, it started to drift to left at one point, but it was primarily a cross breeze, and it wasn't anything outrageous. Here's Ace Reese. What was your experience yesterday? A one-club wind?
Yeah, not a ton of wind. I agree with that.
Reese looks at a first pitch strike. What makes Ace Reese such an elite hitter?
You know, I think it's a really flat path. And in the modern game, when you see so many fastballs that are trying to expose hitters at the top of the zone, when you watch Reese move the barrel through the zone, he can really command the middle top part of the zone. Now, is there a little space to get him on the outer third? Yes, but if you miss middle in, he's one of the most dangerous hitters in the sport, and he can get to velocity.
And the breaking ball skied to right field. This is Pierre Seals. 2 down. And now Noah Sullivan. What do you think is a fair expectation for Kellenbrink's performance today if Missouri's going to hang around?
Well, I think we saw this yesterday with them. They're gonna give him a leash, right? That the bullpen was fantastic yesterday, and obviously Eli Skidmore was one of the stars of the show. The way he came in and held that Ole Miss offense down later in the ball game. But Kerrick Jackson really gave Josh McDevitt a bunch of leash, and I expect the same thing today for Kellenbrink. So fair expectations. Fair 2 times through the order where you're still in the ball game. I think the hope would be that he could get them 3 times through the order.
Upstairs 1-1.
And I think with how offensive it is, Tom, the numbers might not look traditional with him still being out there. Again, Missouri has to win the whole thing to keep playing.
That's right.
So you're going to empty the tank. It could be 100, 110. I mean, if he's got it going, maybe even 120 pitches.
McDevitt threw 98 in the start yesterday for Missouri. Got him through the Ole Miss order 3 times, and that is a power-hitting Ole Miss team, 15th in the country in home runs. But he was able to limit his walks, as was Skidmore, who finished off the game with just 1 walk. Swing and a miss by Sullivan. Got the fastball up in the zone, couldn't find it. And Brady Kellenbrink puts him down in order. Missouri with a 1-run lead through 1. college baseball tournament. It's a grand slam. Missouri upsets Ole Miss.
Hey, when you're tired, you're tired.
Melted deep left field is way gone.
Oh my gosh, what a catch. Yes, my man. Swing and a miss, and LSU, with their backs against the wall, lives to play another day.
I'm a Dave Neal, Lance Cormier, Night Owls, finishing up last night. Dave told me he's probably going to sleep in today. Think he earned it?
He did.
You know, beautiful day at the ballpark. Those dudes just waiting for the pearls to come their way. Here's Donovan Jordan, who looks at a first pitch strike at 96 from Valinkas. Freshman from Humble, Texas. Jordan had a 2-for-4 game. Every Missouri starter had a hit yesterday, and 4 of them had multi-hit games. This is Woodson at shortstop, and that's notable just mainly, Berkey, because of the offensive struggles Missouri had been through the course of the season. 14th in the league in average coming in, 16th in the SEC in home runs, only scoring a hair over 6 runs per game. They have found the right time to get the bats going.
Yeah, I mean, and again, right out of the gate with a homer, it's funny how you can get to an environment like this and sometimes flip the script a little bit. We've seen that some through the years. Now, it's never happened that somebody that plays on the first day is going to win the whole thing, but we have seen some kind of magical runs, and you look at the ranks throughout the course of the season, and essentially, you know, bottom 1, 2, or 3 in all the meaningful offensive categories. You would not know it through the first 10 innings here in Hoover.
0-2 to Pierre, whose dad knows postseason success. His dad, Mark, played at Alabama, got his first career game-winning RBI in the 9th inning against Mississippi State in the College World Series in 1997. So you got a challenge.
That looked like a strike to me, Tommy. This looks like a top of the zone breaking ball here. Yeah.
So how about Sean James?
Yeah, I think that one, you see how quickly he went to the head there, and they'll retain their 3 challenges after nailing that one. I'm a big fan that we are seeing more strikes through this ABS system because I think it's good for the sport. The hitters have a lot of advantages right now, and it's good to see some of those marginal pitches being called strikes.
Jamal George jumps on the first, sinker in front of Chance, and a 2-out base hit for George. What surprised you the most about seeing the strike zone in action with this animation yesterday? The high strikes that were called?
No, I didn't see any. I mean, there was maybe one that got Missouri off the field yesterday that was kind of a backup breaking ball that didn't look great, but I wasn't surprised that a lot of the pitches that are on the edges that have been called balls over the last few years in college baseball, actually, according to this version of ABS, our college version of it, were called strikes. That didn't surprise me that the catchers, so to speak, were winning yesterday. 90%, Tommy. 18 out of 20 by the catchers yesterday.
And Sean James is batting 1,000.
Oh, well, maybe I got different numbers. That's saying 66%.
Yeah, that's 19 of 29. Maybe it's your handwriting. Chris Patterson, a little banged up throughout the course of the season for Missouri, and he's back at his normal spot at third base. Sophomore from Frisco, Texas. He started 30 games for Missouri last year.
You can tell the plan here with Missouri, can't you, Tommy? I mean, it's young, it's homegrown, only 3 transfers in the lineup for Missouri, and a number of these guys still have a lot of eligibility left. You can tell the way they're trying to build their roster.
You know, it's interesting you bring that part up, because in this day and age, finishing strong really doesn't do much for you if you're going to have roster churn.
Right.
And to think Missouri could get all the way through as a 16 seed and win on Sunday may not be realistic. It would be an incredible run, a historical run. But they have a chance to really build momentum going into the offseason.
And that does whet the appetite for the entire program and the players specifically. It gives them some hope moving into the summer and then into the fall. You got something, if you're Carrick Jackson, to really motivate a young team with.
Oh, that's interesting. So part of your perspective on that is the individual momentum. You're going to the Cape, you're going to play summer ball, and hey, I had a great 3-week run as opposed to it was a down season.
No doubt. If you come here and lose your first game, I just think that does put a damper on it.
Swing and a miss for Patterson, dialed up to 96 for Valinkas. He has struck out 3 through 2 innings of play. The 2026 SEC Baseball Tournament on the SEC Network is presented by Regions Bank, the official bank of the SEC. Play for the first time yesterday, and Missouri's catcher did a tremendous job. Mateo Cerna won 7 of his 8 ABS challenges. You're telling me he was behind the plate as an umpire when he was injured this season for Missouri? It certainly looked like it.
Yeah, he talked about that in the postgame yesterday, that he spent some time this spring acting as an umpire. And look how on the edges all these calls are. One of the best in the business. Jason Bradley was behind the plate yesterday. But Cerna just had a really good feel for that buffer zone that here in Hoover is part of the strike zone. The black area on the edges of the plate is a part of the zone here this week.
Jacob Parker jumps on the first, and State's got its first hit with the leadoff single. Well, continue that.
Yeah, I just think it's fascinating, right? So instead of the white of the plate at 17 inches, now you've got the black of the plate included off the edges, so that gets it to 19 inches. And there's definitely a little wiggle room at the top and the bottom as well. So the catchers have to have a feel for that buffer zone.
And you can understand the difficulty for an umpire calling a pitch an inch wider than the white plate is not natural to them.
No.
So the visual cue of a baseball over the white is automatic. Everybody knows it. Now all of a sudden it's a bit of a challenge with the plate an inch wider on either side.
Correct. Yes, you don't have that clear visual that you've been using most of your career, especially for these guys that spent a long time in professional baseball and even Major League Baseball before they came back to the college game.
So it's an adaptation for the home plate umpire.
But I think good for our sport. I think giving college pitchers some room on the edges is good for the game. Certainly the offenses are not having problems. So to help the pitchers with strikes, I think makes the game more balanced.
Is Vitas Valencius at the plate? The 1-1 is fouled off of Cerna's mask. We're not going to go around and dig up every home plate in every regulation size field and put in a 19-inch plate, are we?
I don't think so. But
you're not closing the door.
I don't
on
have
it.
the answer to that. you know, I think if the sport agrees that a touch wider plate than the traditional 17-inch plate is better for the game and easier for the umpires to call, it wouldn't shock me if it was considered.
Or, hey, umpires, respectfully adapt. You know, we can't go digging up 10,000 plates across every youth field that college-age players and high school players are playing.
Well, they're not going to make you do it, Tom. So.
Rest
easy.
So I'm off the hook.
Yes.
Okay, good. 3-2 to Valencius, who transferred in from Illinois. He played his high school ball up in Chattanooga at Baylor School. Brady Kellenbrink out of Parkway South in St. Louis. Second-year starter for Missouri, made 9 starts for the Tigers last year. Swing and a miss for the second strikeout for Kellenbrink.
Well, the fastball up has had some carry to it. He got Noah Sullivan on a fastball at the top of the zone, and now he gets Valencius. Just that true four-seamer. Look at the rotation on that thing. Just beautifully executed right above the hitting zone. Valencius comes up empty.
So here's Reed Stallman. Kellenbrink had great accolades coming out of high school. He was the number 8 recruit in the Show Me State and the second-rated left-handed pitcher. His fastball was in the mid-90s, topped out at 96 as a high schooler. Stallman fouls it off of his leg.
Well, the fastball, you know, Division I average about 18% swing and miss on the fastball, and for Kellenbrink, it's about 21.5. Now, this is not a swing and a miss, but that is a bruise that will last for weeks for Reed Stallman. He should think about the Acuna, you know, the
full armor.
The full armor.
Parker 6 for 7 on the season. And Cerna had struggled throwing out base runners, caught only 10 of 48. But we're seeing his defensive value with the way he's commanded the strike zone in the ABS system as Kellenbrink sends another over to first. And a line drive into right field. Seals able to handle it. And it brings Bryce Chance to the plate.
You know, Tommy, you asked me a little bit about getting going early in the ball game. I think for a team like Mississippi State that play every game at home, but they play the vast majority of the games at night in front of one of the most into it crowds in the sport. This is definitely a different feel for this Mississippi State ball club. And I think if they're not careful, it would be easy to kind of sleepwalk through 4 or 5 innings and then look up and go, hey man, we better get this thing going.
So they try to run and got him. Cerna throws out Parker, just the second time he's been nabbed this season, and Mateo Cerna is coming of age here in the last 2 games, but State's going to challenge.
Mississippi State is challenging the out call at second base.
Jacob Parker 6 for 7 on the year in stolen bases. It looked like he kind of slowed down as he was sliding. Does the foot get in there? Boy, that's close.
Got a bang bang.
I don't love how Blaze Ward went to reach for that throw, Tommy. That's not advised from a middle infield standpoint. The ball's always going to move faster than you can move your glove. So you really want to try to let that ball travel so you don't end up with that long swipe at the base. Makes for a much crisper play.
At the review, the runner is safe at second base. Mississippi State still has 2 challenges remaining.
Well, and you were talking about State not sleepwalking and try to get things going, and maybe this is what they're thinking.
See how he goes out, and that ball is a little bit to the backside, to be fair to him, and maybe I didn't give him enough credit that ball kind of took him that way, but you can see just that extra little reach from the ball placement by Cerna cost him a chance to get off the field right there. I think that was actually more on the placement by Cerna than Blaze Ward overreaching. At some point, you do actually have to go secure the catch, but just a click late there.
0-2 reached for, rolled over. Oh, and under the glove of Patterson, and State trying to make its breaks thanks to the Missouri gift. If it is an error, it'll be the first of the season. It's Patterson, who's been playing limited time due to an injury.
Yeah, this is a ball that's one of those tweeners. Like, you want your third baseman to run over there and field that with conviction. But obviously, you know, you got to get low and then start to thinking about getting your body in a position to throw it. And so often you'll see guys just not quite get down to finish the catch as they're thinking about transferring that ball across the diamond.
Brady Kellenbrink thought he was out of the inning a few pitches ago on the would-be caught stealing of Parker. Instead, runners at the corners with 2 down. Tomahawk down the left field line, but foul.
Kellenbrink's going to throw that changeup to right-handed hitters, but he better not make a habit of leaving them up and out over the middle of the plate. He got away with one right there. As you see, Ryder Woodson been pretty good with runners in scoring position. Done a whole bunch of damage. A scary hitter down here in the bottom third of this Bulldog lineup.
Well, State is used to quick starts this season. Easy take of second after the delay by Chance, and Cerna didn't take the bait.
First and third defense, you'd like to try all these tricky things. At the end of the day, the question is, do you think you can get the hitter out? If so, you don't want to mess around, throw the ball to second base and allow them to steal a run. So you end up giving up the base, and now a single scores 2.
Well, State comes into this tournament with the best run differential in the league in the second inning and one of the best in the first inning. It's a team that's used to getting off to really quick starts offensively. It goes hand in hand with their pitching and defense. Lifted to left. George, it'll fly right out of here. 3-run home run. Ryder Woodson, and the State offense has arrived. No doubter for Ryder Woodson. Berkey, just a couple of batters ago, it looked like Kellenbrink was out of the inning.
Yeah, there will be no sleepwalking from this Mississippi State offense. Well, a stolen base that was kind of a 50-50 call ends up going their way. And next thing you know, an E5 and a hanging slider, Tommy, that gets absolutely launched to straightaway left field. Just like that, a little 2-out lightning.
And now Sean James, the State catcher. 6th home run of the season for Woodson. James getting some run due to an injury to Kevin Maluski, who took a foul tip off the mask in the final series of the season. So James saw some time in his stead. Remains to be seen if and when we would see Milewski this week. But he hits lefties really well. He pops this one foul. A sophomore from Myrtle Beach who started his college career in Virginia.
Well, you talk about a team used to quick starts. Plus 90-ish or so out of the first 2 innings. That works.
James caught looking. Third K for Kellenbrink, but undone by the close call at second base, and this error sabotage Missouri's second.
Yeah, you just got to get off the field when you get a chance against this kind of lineup. They don't. Ryder Woodson makes them pay.
Conference tournament back in Hoover for another run. And game 1 of 4 today. Single elimination changed last year. All 16 teams invited now. I remember a million years ago when it was an 8-team league. Mississippi State just missed the cut. They were number 9 in the conference, and they got into the NCAA tournament and couldn't qualify for Hoover, and the rest of college baseball was in an uproar. Here's Pierre Seals.
And now the expectation is 12 or so a year.
Yeah. What was it, 13 last year? You think we're sitting at 12 this year? Kentucky and Vandy. Vandy could push to 13. Line drive to left for Seals.
I think Vandy has the look and feel of a team that belongs in the tournament. Now, will the committee be able to overlook the traditional RPI metrics that have been used? That will be the question. But Vanderbilt certainly looks like a tournament team to me.
Here's Jace Wood at the top of the order. It's interesting, right? The ratings percentage index, the RPI has become a 4-letter word, whether it's basketball committee or baseball committee. But usually in the SEC, based on the conference schedule and the strength of that, your numbers are going to be bolstered a little bit. But we have teams at opposite ends of the spectrum. Georgia, the conference champs, and Vandy trying to qualify as an at-large. And both of them have RPIs that are less than a normal team in the SEC in that same slot.
Correct. With that level of conference wins. And it does reflect, so many people like to focus on only what happens within the conference. It clearly reflects that what happens outside of the conference matters. It also reflects where you play those games and how that matters. And so Georgia's getting dinged for a bad non-conference schedule that was all played at home.
Yep.
And Vanderbilt's getting dinged for losing games to teams that ended up not having great seasons. And usually we think, well, if you just take care of business in the SEC, it all takes care of itself. This is just one of those years for Vanderbilt where it hasn't. However, there are other metrics this year being used, and Vandy's 70-ish in the RPI, but they're 40th in the DSR. The Diamond Sports rankings that's going to be used. And so I think if the committee, especially if Vanderbilt gets to, they were already at 15 conference wins. If they get to 16 conference wins, if they get to 17 conference wins, even if the RPI doesn't climb crazy high, but you have some of these other rating systems that like them, that feels like enough to me, especially when you're using the eye test and looking out on the field to the quality of players they have on their roster.
Here's the pitch to Woida to wait a second. And if you're Vanderbilt, you put together, you go to 2 different tournaments and you play a UC Irvine or a Texas Tech. There's a fair annual assumption that those teams are going to put together winning seasons that are going to bolster your number, which is a big part of the RPI equation. That did not happen. Woida looks at strike 3.
Boy, he wanted to challenge it, Tom, and didn't pull the trigger.
So 1 down, and Cam Durnan has got a pair of home runs here in Hoover.
Yeah, we talked about one of the hottest hitters in the Southeastern Conference. Only Daniel Jackson has been on base more in the month of May than Cam Durnan, and he is putting on a show here in Hoover. Now has been on base every time but one over a 2-game span, and 2 homers. An on-base machine who is also slugging, catching fire at the exact right time for the Tigers.
He and Nelson Montpierre in 2017 are the only 2 Missouri players with multi-home runs here in the SEC tournament. Durnan is from Lynn Creek, Missouri. Started his college career at Wichita State. Had a couple of really good streaks this season, an 18-game and an 18 and 8-game hit streaks this year. He likes being close to home. Lynn Creek down at the Lake of the Ozarks. The parents can come to all the games in Columbia. His dad Bryce played college baseball. His mom played college basketball at William Jewell in Kansas City. Brother Caden was playing baseball at TCU. And another brother Carson at Crowder College. Runner goes. Pitches a strike. Throw to second is just late. Oh, he got him. Must have come off the bag.
I think he came off the bag, Tommy. Boy, and that is just a bummer. Pierre Seals trying to avoid the tag, gets skinny and really manipulates his body here at the end, and then just can't hold with the oven mitt. Man, that's close, but he did not put up a fight. The old oven mitt, Tommy.
Giveth and taketh away. What if you put hooks at the end of the oven?
I like it. Maybe some sticky stuff. Let's get some tar on there.
You would never be able to scratch your nose with an oven mitt if it was covered in tar.
Imagine you come up from the sliding on clay. I don't think that would work out great.
Oh, we can still workshop it. Durnan waved at that one. It's strikeout number 5 for Tomas Valinkas. When we return, we'll talk with his head coach, Brian O'Connor, first year at State, and his squad with a 3-1 lead. third inning, Mississippi State was a 3-1 lead over Missouri thanks to a 3-run home run from Ryder Woodson in the second inning. And Brian O'Connor, nice enough to put the headset on and join us. Hey, your first SEC tournament. I know it's been a lot of firsts for you this year in the league. We're just getting things started, but what are your initial impressions?
Oh, this is awesome, right? This is what any great college baseball player wants, this environment, this historic ballpark, and what a great tournament, and just great teams, great coaches, great players. This is what it's about.
Oak, your ace laid out for a pop-up to start the ball game. Your thoughts, please.
Well, my stomach dropped, right? You know, but that's the way he approaches everything. I mean, it's full tilt. He loves to compete. Didn't surprise me at all, but you know, I had to catch my breath there for a second.
Hey, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you.
Great to see you. Move.
Great seeing you.
Garrick Fry at the plate. Little dribbler back to the mound. Kellen Brink will take it halfway. He took this job for some very specific reasons. He was at a time in his life where he was ready for a challenge after leading Virginia to unprecedented heights. And what bigger challenge for a college baseball coach, two-parter Berkey, not just to come to the SEC, but to take over this program where the expectations are among the highest and the fan support is literally, from a ticket sold perspective, the best.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about the fire that burns within him. I just think it'd be easy for somebody that built that Virginia program that had ultimate job security to ride off into the sunset. And who would judge him if that's what he wanted to choose? But he's at a season of life where he really wanted to be re-engaged and rejuvenated with the competitive nature of trying to win in the best league in college baseball and under the brightest of spotlight, because Mississippi State is one of those programs where you could argue baseball's first there, Tommy, as far as their fan base is concerned.
Oh, I don't think there's any argument. I mean, there's some other coaches that may not want to hear that, but I think the fan base that we see, the top 25 crowds in on-campus history, have all come at Dudy Noble Field. They will tell you the same. I was in the La Quinta lobby a couple of weeks ago, and fans were rolling in like it was a football weekend. Strike three looking for Ace Reese, and that is K number 4 for Kellenberg.
Well, and in the modern era, it is interesting how baseball could be a passion of your school, and it can almost be elevated to the point of this is maybe the best chance we have in any sport to win it all.
Well, it's tied in with Mississippi State's athletic identity.
Yes, and so it even heightens the spotlight on Brian O'Connor and his staff and on this program, and he wanted that smoke.
It's one into the seats on the right side. And you correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think it's fair to say that this is still very much a year one team. This is the foundation. There's a lot of moving parts and I shouldn't say missing pieces, but blended pieces. They're like the Brady Bunch of college baseball. We take a little from UVA, keep some from State, roll in some guys from other places.
Yeah,
the talent level should improve year over year.
You would think. Now, he does have some special ones. Valinkas and Reese aren't going to be on your roster every year, and it's an older team that has a lot of college baseball under their belt. I think it's a talented roster, and yes, he's got a couple superstars in Reese and Valinkas. I also think he did a masterful job in the middle when they got swept at home, Tommy, by Georgia and Tennessee. That is not easy to do at a place like Mississippi State. And they handled that and bounced back fantastically.
Well, Kellenbrink with a great bounce back. After a 3-run second, he puts his side down in order in the third. 3-1 State.
I think we're a pretty damn good team. You know, we're judged by the best conference and the best teams in college baseball, but there's also a lot of precedence for a team that's 14 and 16. But
And Vandy bolstered the resume with the win yesterday, 8-5 over Kentucky. The RPI at 70. They moved up one spot. There's a lot of data points that are already in the bank, so it will be hard to make big leaps when it comes to the RPI. The DSR, to your point, is at 40.
Look, they're not going to fix their RPI problem this week. It just is where it is. As far as historical data points for this conference to get an at-large bid, it's not going to get there. So the question is, will the committee overlook it relative to the other points on their resume? And I think with each win, that becomes easier for the committee to do. And there's a piece of the current form of that team that I think is very interesting if I was the selection committee.
Blaze Ward bounces it to the right side. Backed up at second base by Fry. The footwork was there, according to Jeff Head. What a fantastic play by Valinkas, if indeed he was able to kick the bag with possession.
Missouri is challenging the out call at first base.
Just your typical 3-4-1. Berkey.
Yeah, this had some wrinkles to it, Tommy. First of all, Reed Stallman's not able to catch it on a play that he should probably make. Fantastic job by Fry to get over. He's got to hit a moving target, and the question is, does Valinkas drag the foot as he has the ball? So we see Fry with just a nice job of hanging in there. Doesn't make a perfect throw, but again, the athleticism of Valinkas to hang in there, I just don't know. Did he have it when he touched it?
I think it was the kick back. I don't think he was on the bag initially when the left foot came across, but watch when he goes back to kick it. I think he got him by a toenail. So it'll be right there. The heel comes up, but that's tough.
Because he's working away from it.
Jeff Head all over it. That's the previous shot was a view from the ump cam. Appreciate the guys wearing those for us and for the viewers at home.
Tommy, I think the only case is does the spike, that's a great look. A couple clicks before might be, is the spike still dragging as the ball is being caught? Because
you don't have the kick.
Right. I think it is. I think he's on the corner of it. Back it up like 1 or 2 frames. Right there. He's on the base.
After review, the runner is out at first base. Missouri has 1 challenge remaining.
Great job, tape room.
Yes, fantastic. Jeff
One
Head.
down.
Jeff Head at first base. We got the cam view of that. I mean, the umpire view.
Yeah. That's a lot of equipment for one hat, isn't it? Kind of looked like RoboCop out there.
A lot of copy.
Here's Mateo Cerna. We talked about his skill behind the plate, and that was so good. There's a fantastic article on ESPN.com by Bradford Doolittle that breaks down ABS impacts in the major league level, and he points out Cubs catcher Carson Kelly, Berkey, is 21-4 in challenges. The 84% success rate, the big league level, translates to 2.3 runs above expectation. He's also 1-for-1 challenging as a hitter. So Carson Kelly for the Cubs has 2.6 runs better than expectation for challenges. That would be 7th best in Major League Baseball. I mean, you talk about all these metrics, defensive run saves and runs per expectation. The bottom line is, if you can get outs and get your team off the field, there is value in that, and they measure it runs per game and over the course of an entire season. That could be a huge difference.
Well, and the way we all think about it on a at-bat defining call, but it could be the difference between 1-0 and 0-1 or 2-1 and 1-2. And if you're the OPS differential in those counts being flipped is significant over the course of a ball game, and certainly over the course of a season. If you're that good at flipping the count back towards your pitcher's favor, that definitely will have an impact.
Cerna strikes out. That is K number 6. The other thing to keep in mind is, and I thought what Carrick Jackson established early on is that they trusted Mateo Serna to work the ABS, and to not wait for high leverage situations or outcome-oriented situations. That got him into a rhythm. Some other coaches yesterday had tighter reins on it. And listen, you're gonna have different usage rates for different teams.
And you can see, I feel like in this game, there's already been a couple hitters that have thought long and hard about doing it. And I guarantee you, as they're thinking, they're hearing what their coach has told them about leverage and situation as to when they're allowed to do it. And it's interesting how few hitters have done it to this point.
Jordan sends it in the air down the right field line. Jacob Parker in foul territory. And it's a 1-2-3 inning work by Tomas Valinkis. We'll talk with Missouri's Josh McDevitt. Had a fantastic outing on the mound yesterday when we return. Well, Missouri's Josh McDevitt was fantastic yesterday in the Tigers' win against Ole Miss. Battled back after allowing a couple of home runs. First trip to the lineup was magnificent. Second trip through the order, and stuck around long enough to keep Missouri in the game that turned out to be a 10-8 victory for the Tigers. Hey, got the headset on. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
How you feeling today after that outing? What did you throw? I think 98 pitches yesterday?
Something like that. Feel good. I'll be hot later this week and ready to go. Ready to watch Brady compete today and try to move on.
What is the game plan in terms of your usage coming into this tournament and the idea that you could get the start in game one and then come back later?
I mean, I think it's just all hands on deck. You know, if you can throw, you're going to throw. You're going to be hot. All of us, we just want to keep playing, just keep fighting for one more day, and we're going to do whatever it takes.
Josh, the fastball has been pretty special for you throughout the course of the year. Is that something that you've always had as a player? Or is that something that's evolved in your time in college?
I think it's always been the go-to, but this year especially, you know, working with Coach Drew and Nick, you know, working on different mechanical things, working with Coach Grundy in the weight room, everything kind of just led to, you know, a little uptick in velo and a little bit better shape, and that's kind of been the bread and butter this year.
That's a big word in today's sport that used to not exist, talking about the shape of a fastball. You know, that's still kind of new, I think, to our listening audience. First of all, what does that mean to you, the shape of it, and how has it improved?
Just the overall movement profile, you know, kind of gets on hitters' hands a little bit, kind of a ride run from the lower slot. So even though the TrackMan metrics might not be crazy compared to other guys, I think it's just how I kind of hide the ball and the slot that kind of makes it play up a little bit.
So is that something that you were always aware of, or to your point with this coaching staff, they've really dialed in on it?
The coaching staff has definitely helped me with that. You know, just understanding how it moves and kind of how the other pitches can play off that, knowing that it's going to be mostly fastballs, but we can kind of build the arsenal around that fastball. They've definitely helped with that.
Brady Kellenbrink put down the side in order in the third, and he gets a strikeout of Jacob Parker. That's 3 straight Ks now for Kellenbrink. What can you tell us watching your teammate throw? What makes him go?
Man, he's just a competitor. He's got 3 or 4 pitches for strikes. You know what you're going to get. You're just going to get a whole bunch of strikes, and you know, he's just a dog on the mound. To be a sophomore, and he's probably got, what, 19 or 20 SEC starts under his belt. Like, you can't ask for much more than that. And, you know, every game that he pitches, we're going to be in a position to win the game.
Whiff rate on his changeup is through the roof. You guys talk grips much?
Yeah, a little bit. We definitely help each other. I think that's kind of the cool part about this culture with the pitching staff is we're all just trying to learn from each other and see how good we can get, and we want everybody to to be good too. You know, it's not about ourselves. We want the whole group as a unit to be good, so we all try to help each other.
How much does the vibe of a team change when you get here to Hoover? You know, you get out of the monotony of the week in and week out grind of the SEC, and you show up to this big venue where everybody's in the same place. Like, what does that do to the team's mindset or the vibe?
I mean, it's awesome. You know, just like growing up, watching games here and watching all the great players to come through here. You get here and you realize that you're at that same level on the same stage. To be able to come out here and throw against the best hitters in the country, and for our hitters to face the best arms in the country, like, there's nothing better. And it's just such a cool opportunity, and we're excited to be here.
When you say you grew up watching great players come through here, who sticks out? Like, is there a start? Is there a dude on the bump that you was kind of appointment viewing for you through the history of this event?
I mean, I think that's the cool thing about the SEC is, like, every team has one of those. You know, it's not just one team that's kind of run the league. You look in Omaha, and it's 4 teams from the SEC every year. And that's the thing that's so great about this conference tournament is there's so much talent everywhere you look, and it's just a really cool thing to be a part of.
Is there a guy, though, when you were in high school, say, I'm dating myself here, trying to figure out when you were in high school, like Kumar Rocker or Paul Skeens, or is there a guy that you really tuned in to watch?
I really like watching Jack Leiter.
Okay, there you go.
We've talked about him a lot the last couple of years, and just how he kind of works backwards, and you know, he would sit 93, 94, and then reach up and get a 7 whenever he wanted it. And that was close.
There's a win. Hey, by the way, Cerna was a wizard with ABS yesterday. Did you see that coming?
I knew he was going to be good. I didn't think he would use it that much, but he kind of just got on a roll and sure was helping me out. So I was grateful to have him behind the plate yesterday.
So instead of the 4th straight strikeout, Valencius gets a second life here. Brady Kellenbrink delivers a 3-2. Got to pop up in foul territory. This one to reach the seats. Hey, before we let you go, let's say you got some downtime in Columbia and a couple bucks in your pocket. Where are you going to eat? Are we a traditional downtown Booch's, Shakespeare's, or are we gonna?
Shakespeare's is good. Shakespeare's is good. I like Pizza Tree. I like India's House. I like Hokkaido. There are too many spots in Columbia.
Wow.
There's food everywhere.
Hokkaido, huh?
How's that list, Tommy? Judge that list.
That's really a little eccentric and very impressive. Almost as impressive as Kellenbrink, who's now got 7 strikeouts on a roll. This is good stuff. Hey, real quick, back to Cerna. What do you think about his profile makes him so good, or at least in the moment yesterday, so good with the ABS?
I think just his composure all around. You know, he's just such a leader for us on the field. This is his 3rd year starting for us, and we know, you know, he just wants the best for you, and he does such a good job motivating all the pitchers and knowing that you got an absolute wall back there. And not to mention, he knows the strike zone better than anybody in the country, I think.
Apparently so. Josh, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Congrats on the start yesterday.
Thank you, guys. MIZ.
And we may see Josh later on in the week. As he mentioned, if Missouri can continue to stack some wins, single elimination tournament. Stallman into center. Caden Peer. And Brady Kellenbrink is on a roll. He's retired 7 straight, and he has struck out 5 of those since the home run by Woodson. turned into a long ball convention here in Hoover this week.
Yeah, it's a Missouri team that has swung the bat with confidence, a Mississippi State team that has taken advantage of really the one mistake that Missouri has allowed, which is an error and a hanging breaking ball, and that's the story of our ball game to this point, but it's been very well pitched on both sides.
Coming into today, D1 baseball has Mississippi State as a host. And what do they have in the 14 seed? So they got a little bit of wiggle room, but this week there's still a lot of movement, especially in the back end.
Yeah, definitely. But there's still plenty to play for here this last week as teams are diving into conference tournaments and seeding is being established. And of course, this year is the first year we're getting 17 to 32, kind of, sort of. And so,
explain the kind of sort of part.
Well, there is going to be a regional component to the 17 through 32. Geographical, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then obviously they're trying their best to keep conference teams out of the same regionals.
Yeah.
They're not trying their best. They're going to keep conference teams.
Yeah, that
out
is
of the
a
same.
rule, a bracket rule.
Yes, that's a bracket rule. So it is 17 through 30. It is 17 through 32, but there is a little wiggle room as far as that's concerned. So
which is not uncommon. Like, everybody's used to March Madness, and there are bracket rules in regard to March Madness. And so the committee has not only the ability but the responsibility to move teams up and down a seed line to serve those bracket rules.
Correct. And so with that, if let's just say as of today, let's say UCLA is number 1, they're going to play somebody between 29 and 32 on that list.
If it was true, it would be 32.
It would just be 32.
Right.
But it's
pickoff attempt, sails wide. It gets up against the tarp, and Pierre jogs down to second. Missouri takes advantage as Pierre gets a free 90 on the throwing error by Valinkas.
Valinkas loves this snap move that we called it the Terry Mulholland, but as easy as he makes it look, this one sails high into the arm side. And really fortunate for Mississippi State that didn't skid down in the corner, because this type of ballpark where you could take 2 bases.
Runs inside. So I think where that's most interesting, 132, like, is there a huge difference between 29 and 32?
Maybe.
Depends.
Yeah.
Depends. But it's really interesting when you get 16, 17, right? Because the differentiation between hosting and not hosting. And then, okay, well, you're not hosting, but we're going to give you the easiest host by record is certainly interesting. If you have movement there more than 2 seed lines, that could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, like this week D1 had 16 and 17 as Oregon and Oregon State. That would be very interesting.
Whether that's, as of now, it'd be in Eugene, but if that got flipped to Corvallis, that'd be fantastic. Of course, if this were a few years ago, both in the Pac-12, that would not be the case. They'd have to move Oregon State down or Oregon up to satisfy those bracket rules. Well, George at the plate. A&M last year, Alabama State prior to that. Showed bunt. He takes it for a strike. Missouri has more bunts for base hits than anybody in the SEC. And despite the power we saw from the Tigers yesterday, generally they're an offense that does it via small ball.
Well, when you can't slug, you got to find ways to manufacture offense, and this has been part of their deal throughout the course of the year.
George had a 2-out single his first time up. 19 of them.
And second in sack bunts with 20.
Takes to the backside to advance the runner. George fist pumping down the line. He knows that he did his job. Get ready for the road to Omaha. SEC Now coming your way Monday 2 Eastern on SEC Network and the ESPN app. Everything you need to know heading into the tournament. Are you on that show?
I am not. No, I will be in Bristol on Monday doing a similar deal, just not at the
every promo I asked
SEC.
Todd Walker yesterday, and I'm not sure he knows his schedule.
Todd's like, I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow.
They'll send me an email, wouldn't they? Well, this is a toasty morning here in Hoover, and it's only going to climb throughout the day. Game 1 of 4. Chris Patterson at the plate. Always interesting watching the playing surface evolve over the course of the day. They watered it, obviously. They water it every morning before. They water it between sessions, but it was a little bit of a wet track to start the game yesterday for Missouri. A base runner got picked off when he spun his wheels, and then it dries, and then the night falls and the sun goes down and the dew sets in, and you can see rooster tails in the outfield in the late game.
Yeah, you get a lot of different iterations of the surface here as the day unfolds, which is kind of cool. But you know, it is a conference that I don't know exact splits are, but it feels like it's about 50-50 natural and turf. So you get your teams that aren't as used to playing on fiery turf natural surfaces, and you get your teams like Mississippi State, where this is more what they're accustomed to.
How about our grounds crew? What an amazing job. This field looks as good as it has ever
looked. It really does. It's
gentlemen.
It's such a beautiful Southeastern Conference representation surface. Bermuda grass and fast infield. But it does challenge defenses, not only with the speed of the ball and the natural surface, but the width of the outfield. I mean, it's a traditional big ballpark. You got a lot of ground to cover out there.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Chris Patterson, who struck out swinging his first time up. And sends this one deep into right field. This will get a run home. Parker on the run in foul territory, and he turns and heaves it. But a sac fly from Patterson, and Missouri manufactures a run. How about that? Single, error, advance on a ground ball, and come home on a sacrifice fly.
Get them on, get them over, get them in. This is baseball 101. How about Jamal George with a backside ground ball, with fist pumping all the way down because he knows that's a team at bat. And then with Jacob Parker, would you drop that, Tommy? Would you do it with Valinkas on the mound? Maybe. Now you do have a 2-run lead. Now it's a 1-run lead. Like, I would love to know what the numbers and the win probabilities say about that. But when you have this kind of strikeout guy already with 2 strikes, you could probably make a case to let that ball fall. However, he didn't, and Missouri capitalizes, and some nice situational hitting there.
Valinkas now with 118 strikeouts in 84 2/3 innings pitched. 1-1.
I would like to poll Valinkas what his thoughts were. I guarantee you he would want him to drop that. What do you think?
Oh, yes. And not to say that he's a selfish pitcher,
no,
but that comes with confidence,
sure,
right?
Sure.
What would Roger Clemens say?
He'd be screaming, drop it.
I've got it. Don't worry about it. I'll get the next guy. And Seals gets rung up, and that'll close the 5th. Second trip through the order. Valinkas has struck out 7. But Mizzou, the 16 seed, hanging right there. on the roster of Missouri greats with this postseason performance. He has struck out 7 through 3 2/3 innings. And in terms of Missouri Conference tournament history production from a strikeout perspective, he's up there with some big leaguers. Pete Fairbanks, big leagues right now, noted New York Times crossword guy, struck out 10 in 2015, and Tanner Houck struck out 8 that same year. How about that stat, by the way, in 2015?
Yeah, I remember both of those arms, and Tanner Houck was like a no-brainer. Pete Fairbanks kind of reinvented himself with the short arm throwing a hungy as a bullpen guy. But yeah, that Missouri staff had some serious star power.
A hungy, huh?
Yeah, hunch piece.
Top of hunch piece.
Get your lingo going, Tommy.
Here's the bottom of the order, and Bryce Chance. Chance reached on the Patterson error with 2 outs. It extended the second. Speaking of Missouri pitchers, Spencer Miles, saw him pitch on Saturday for the Blue Jays. He was a Rule 5 pickup from the Giants. A Columbia native, had only thrown 14 innings of professional baseball. Now he's in the big leagues.
The path to the big leagues with some of the pitchers always fascinates me. It is, professional baseball has shrunk, at least the affiliated professional baseball in the minor leagues, but there's still a lot of different pathways to get to the top.
Miles had to battle his way through multiple injuries, back surgery, Tommy John, and always had a high spin rate, real velocity. That's why the Blue Jays took a flyer on him. One sent out of play to the right side. Also happens to be a Columbia native from Rockbridge High School, home of such luminaries as Carl Edwards and Sophie Cunningham. That's all I can think of.
Okay.
And the first big leaguer from Rockbridge. Blown away, 3-2.
That's kind of a cool honor.
Cerna gives it a look. Man, what an effort. I wouldn't have been surprised if he would have gone Jeter over the rail.
Yeah,
there.
just
this dude.
Full body surf
Yeah.
into the dugout. I don't know that he would have been caught like Eddie Vedder at a Pearl Jam concert, but you never know. It's kind of been his week here early on. I
had you more of a Travis Scott guy, but okay.
Yeah, I could get into some Pearl Jam back in my early days. I am fascinated with how well Kellen Brink's fastball is played in this game.
So first base runner to reach and second trip through the order, and it sets up Ryder Woodson, who took advantage of the error last time out.
Last time he got a hanging breaking ball. It's a slider that didn't slide much. Man, did he get below that one. And we have seen it so far in the couple days at Hoover. If you strike one well in the air, even though the wind doesn't feel gusty, the ball is just flying out of here at the Hoover Met.
What's your meteorological explanation for that?
Thin air? I don't know. I mean, I think the flag is moving a little bit better today than I noticed yesterday. But it was apparent. I mean, Dom Decker went backside right out of the gate to start that game, and I was like, oh, okay. Because you can always tell when a hitter kind of feels it when they leave the box.
Yep.
There was a few yesterday where the hitters didn't give you the I just nuked that one look.
Chance 12, now 13 of 16. Where he had the bang stolen base in the second.
Kind of got him going. Think about that second inning. He was called out, and that was overturned correctly. And then you had the air, or excuse me, he reached on the air, and then he had the stolen base. or Parker had the stolen base. Excuse me. I'll get my box score right here in a second. 2 plays. Parker almost got thrown out, and then he reached on the air. 2 different ways Mizzou almost got off the field at that point, and unfortunately for them, they weren't able to do it. And Ryder Woodson, who's really been playing with a lot of confidence here down the stretch, and a big reason that makes this lineup so scary here in the postseason.
You know, going back a couple series ago, Drew Wires was slated to start game 1 of that series against Auburn at shortstop, but he got hit by a batted ball during batting practice, and so Woodson, who plays plenty, it's not like it was a straight platoon, was plugged in, and he has gone on a tear.
Yeah, he had struggled there at times, and so they were tinkering. But I mean, yeah, you look back throughout the course of the season, Ryder Woodson started 49 games for this club, so he's been out there for most of the innings, and he is really making it pay here down the stretch.
And 5 hits in the A&M series. And drove in 3. Mississippi State comes in on a 2-game losing streak, dropped final 2 at A&M, and dropped the final 2 of their series at home against Auburn. Very disappointing, I think, for a lot of people around the program, the way the finale of that Auburn series went, with so much on the line. Got blown out, got run ruled 13-2. It was kind of funny. Right after that game ended, I was in the restroom and they're piping in the radio broadcast for Mississippi State, and it was a very critical observation that this team blew it with so much on the line, and everybody in the bathroom looked up and said, yeah, that's just about right. That's just about, it was not a lot of happy campers in Starkville that day. Ball 4 to Woodson. Back-to-back walks from Brady Kellenbrink. Sunday at 6 Eastern, Rally Cap will break down the softball supers and the SEC tournament. 2 on.
Busy time of the year for the folks at Rally Cap. A lot to unpack. Drew Dickinson going to go have a chat with his left-hander.
How about Drew Dickinson and his former boss in the other dugout? Previous 6 years at UVA with Brian O'Connor.
Couple trips to Omaha. Well, this offense is hard enough to navigate, but walking a couple guys at the bottom with Fry and Reese looming makes life very difficult. You got to believe part of this conversation, Tommy's probably about bunt defense. It wouldn't shock me to see a bunt here from Sean James just to set up the top of the order.
Well, you mentioned the long leash in a Missouri bullpen that had a really good series against Kentucky earlier this year, but for the most part had struggled, and so you figure that they're going to ride Kellenbrink just as long as they possibly can, especially when you think about the goals for the team this week. I mean, you have to have a long week to get the automatic berth and win this thing on Sunday.
Yeah, your horses have to run. I mean, that's just all there is to it. By the same token, there is no tomorrow. So if you don't win the ball game, so you're constantly balancing that with each pitching decision that arises.
So here's James, who struck out looking his first time up. Was that by design to get a peek?
Yeah, and he gave it to you. Now, did he deke when he saw the inside move? You'll see some hitters play a little of that cat and mouse. He is in the back of the box typically when you're sacking. Now, he might move himself up as he goes to make his move. Let's see if his feet move. Yeah, there he goes.
What do you got on the bunt?
That was a little more bunt for the hit-ish. That looked a little draggy to me. Now let's see if the next time here, if Oak puts the pure sack on, that he just kind of gets up in the box and gets it down. Now you do want to get it to the third base side because this first baseman is free to charge. He's not holding the runner. So you want this ball to go down the third base side.
Squared much earlier, but can't get this one down.
And see, there is a fine line there. Yes, you want it to third, but boy, it doesn't look like Woida's really down your throat. Like anything soft kind of in front of the mound will get the job done, and you try to be too fine on 2 attempts in a row, and now you're in a really tough spot.
It's a view of Derek Malika down the third base side. And with 2 strikes, did he offer out it? He got by Cerna. Carrick Jackson saying that should be a strikeout, and he's coming out.
No, he's saying it should be yeah, well, it would be a strikeout on a foul ball.
And then you return the base
Yes.
runners. That'd be the best course of action for Missouri. Jeff Wright was a little late, finally called him out. Yeah, he definitely got a piece of it.
Tips the barrel, then off the mitt of Cerna. And that's an empty at bat right there by James.
And so they will get it right. They return the base runners as Garrett Fry comes to the plate. Braves connection between James and Fry. Sean James' dad played in the Braves organization 02 to 06, was a teammate of Brian McCann with Myrtle Beach in 2004. And Garrett Fry's hitting coach growing up in the Atlanta area is Brian McCann's dad.
I like it. Good guy to see.
Mm-hmm. Fouls it back. I bet Garrett grew up watching the SEC tournament. Atlanta kid. Big time Braves fan. And he's versatile. He started at 5 different positions since he came to Mississippi State last year. Now he's settled in nicely at second base.
And really performed and shown some power down the stretch. 9 home runs on the season. 7 of them have come in SEC play.
Right, with a line out to left in the first and ground out to the right side in the third. One for 3 risked today, and the one was a big one. That was a 3-run home run for Woodson. 3-1.
With the command starting to wobble, isn't it, Tommy?
Yep.
It was a car fest early in the ball game with the fastball command. Really, the only time he was hurt was with a hanging breaking ball, and the fastball is what he has leaned into to get to this point in the ball game. But that command really looks like it's wavering.
Fry bangs it up the middle. It gets through. Chance around third. Mississippi State will add to its lead on a hard hit ball off the bat of Garrett Fry.
Well, that'll make Coach McCann happy.
Yep.
Back through the middle on a 3-1 heater. And this ball is just smoked. A fastball out and over the plate, ripped back up the box. And Garrett Fry wins that battle as Kellenbrink continues to look like he's maybe nearing the end. And you never know, there might be a bounce back in there. But as we get to 91 pitches, it does feel like he's laboring here a little bit.
And now he's going to deal with Ace Reese. Reese tied for third in the league in home runs, fourth in RBI, fourth in slugging.
There was a period of time this year where Ace Reese was maybe not playing at the level, certainly the level that he had established for himself the second half of last season. Man, it was almost like once the middle of April hit, he just put the gas pedal down, and you look up, he's tied for third in the league in homers, tied for third in the league in SEC games in homers, and back-to-back seasons of 20 home runs. That is a special accomplishment.
Those are statues.
Yeah, that's a. If your name is on that list with those two, that's a special career. Spent his freshman season at Houston and came over to Mississippi State and has established himself as one of the legends as a hitter in this program.
Are you a little surprised there hasn't been others to go 20 twice? Or back-to-back?
No. I mean, it's
Really?
hard. It's hard to hit 20 home runs in a college baseball season. Now, obviously, the last 5 years, it doesn't feel as hard as it did there for a while when the BB Core era began, but there's been some pretty good players come through here, and it's a short list.
2-0 pitch upstairs. Hunter Hines had a 22 home run season in 23.
He would have been a guy that you would have expected to be able to do it.
Down the line and foul.
They keep pulling the trigger on those 3-0 heaters. So this is Mississippi State's got some action in the bullpen.
That's Sam Roseanne for Missouri. Yeah, Hines hit 70, his school record, but it came over the course of 4 seasons. Didn't do 20 back-to-back.
Yeah, 3-1 off-speed pitch. Just felt like you had to go there after the 3-0 swing by Ace Reese. I think this is going to be Kellen Brink's last guy.
They off in the dirt, and Cerna had to smother it. Maybe took it off of his hand. Cerna getting banged up back there. To your point, feels like that would have been his last guy, and here's Carrick Jackson. I was going to say he struck out Sullivan twice, both times swinging, but the stuff has faltered here in the 5th inning. A 31 pitch inning after a 20 pitch 4th. And that'll bring the end of the line, be the end of the line for Brady Kellenbrink. Tell you about the new Missouri reliever after this. State with the bases loaded and only 1 down. field for the first time. What a day at the ballpark. You get some autographs from all the teams and a gigantic pink glove. You think there's room on there for an autograph?
Few.
So that's Florida and Vandy next. Arkansas, Tennessee tonight, followed by Auburn and LSU.
Florida and Vandy should be fun. That matchup, Tommy, you've called a few Florida Vandy games that have gotten a little chippy. That matchup always gets fun.
Yeah, and I specifically remember one. I don't remember getting chippy, but Tim Corbin was so mad that they lost on the road to Gainesville. This was in the old ballpark years ago. He got on the charter full uni. I will change when we get home. Here's Sam Roseanne, 1-3 with a 4.70 ERA. 29 Ks against 10 walks.
Fastball get up to 94 miles an hour and has his best miss rate relative to average. You see the slider, changeup, and cutter as well.
He stepped out of the jelly into a jam. Base is juiced. Only one out. The 3-hole hitter, Noah Sullivan. Public enemy number 1 in this at bat. Sullivan 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Runner at third is Woodson. He drew a walk. Fry is at second after an RBI single, and Ace Reese was walked. 0-2. Sullivan trying to avoid the hat trick. Can't. And Roseanne gets him swinging. 2 down. That was a huge one.
Yeah, and really a pitch that Noah Sullivan probably wishes he had back. That's a slider that catches a lot of the plate. This is not exactly where you go with a 2-strike slider. I mean, that thing is middle, and Sullivan just swings right below it. Roseanne gets away with a mistake, and one big out left to get.
And it's a freshman hitting in the cleanup spot, Jacob Parker. Talking with Jacob a couple weeks ago, he said, I'm a little surprised how much spin I see. He goes, I'm a freshman in this league. You would think more guys would come right after him, or at least he did. But he had a stretch late in the year. We had 2 grannies over a 7-game span, and we're going to get an ABS challenge.
Challenging the call.
Jacob's 1 minute younger than his twin JoJo, 8th overall pick of the Blue Jays out of Purvis High School. Well,
but think about the situation there, Tommy. The bases are loaded. That would have gone to 2-0. That tells me that Brian O'Connor has given them the freedom to do that kind of a challenge in that kind of a spot. He wants to do it again, Tommy. He wants to do it again.
To the other point, how about Roseanne going right back to that same spot?
Yes, I mean, and nailing it. But that one did look a click lower. Tell me what you think. That one feels a click lower. You can't risk it back-to-back pitches. Jacob Parker had one of the most electric swings in SEC play this year.
Wow. The
grand slam he hit against LSU after LSU had gotten off to a huge lead in that ball game. And it was LSU, Mississippi State. The new dude was just slammed. And here's a true freshman hitting a grand slam that I think tied that game up.
A little dribbler down the first base line, picked up in fair territory, and the toss ends the inning. Roseanne rolled the dice, but he knew he could get Parker. Just need a little bit of touch.
Nice play right here, Tommy.
Yeah, it's like layering it over the zone, over the linebacker in front of the safety.
Well done.
Hey,
teams holding their breath for a chance to dogpile in America's heartland. It's the NCAA Baseball Selection Show with watch parties all over the country. Let the road to Omaha begin.
Selection special coming your way noon on ESPN2. Here are the SEC teams in the projected field with Kentucky as the lone 3 seed. Played the sound from Tim Corbin earlier. He thinks they've done enough to earn an at-large, but he said to that point, we've still got to play baseball. Who outside of the SEC do you think, you're just thinking of bubble teams here, who as of today is holding their breath on Monday?
Well,
because we like to think of it. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, you're
I asked
good.
the question, then I interrupt you.
Yeah.
Here's Jace Woida. It's not a vacuum, right? So we talk about Kentucky's resume. We talk about Vanderbilt opportunities. There are plenty of other teams that are sitting on the bubble that are fighting for those same last few spots.
Well, NC State had a big blow yesterday in the
Right.
ACC as they got run out of there, and they've got to. And they really limped to the finish. That has to be discouraging for them. Kendall Rogers had a nice piece about some of the teams that are on the bubble today on D1Baseball.com. That it feels like Purdue and Michigan are both in that conversation from the Big Ten.
Long run and handled by Parker. It's a double elimination tournament in Omaha for the Big Ten.
Yeah, so that gives you at least a mulligan. Louisiana comes up with a big win. Of course, you got the Vanderbilt Kentucky situation, and then all week long there's the conversation of who's going to move up the seeding ladder. And like we just showed that graphic right there where Florida's 10 on the top 16. Can Florida play their way into a top 8? Would they have to jump Texas A&M to do that? That would be an interesting conversation. Is there room for another SEC top 8, or is that, one eliminates the other?
Cam Durnan's got a home run to his name. He's 1 for 2, talking with some folks around the Florida program. They feel like with 2 wins, they are a locked top 8 seed, right? And those 2 wins would come against a really good Vandy team and then an Alabama team that's the 4 seed in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that would just heighten their resume that already has some superlatives in it.
So field line drive for Durnan. His hot streak continues.
Coach Jackson, I got some good news and some bad news. Your boy Cam Durnan is red hot, which is nice to have in the 2-hole. The bad news is he might be playing himself like way up some draft boards. I mean, seriously, when you're a shortstop that's swinging the bat like this and driving the ball out to the big part of the ballpark and hitting backside lasers on Tomas Valinkis, what do we know about this week in Hoover, Tom? It's as heavily scouted of an event as there is in college baseball. And I got to believe Mr. Durnan's making himself some money with the way he's performing here.
Blaze Ward is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Durnan will look for a chance to run. These dudes get the reservations for the Hoover hotels early. And by the way, and to your point, chopper to the right side, smothering by Stallman, and from his knees, Valinkis once again getting over to cover the bag. 2 down.
Well, that's pretty fancy on both ends right there. We saw Reed Stallman not make a play earlier in the ball game, but this one arguably a more difficult opportunity. He handles flawlessly. The range off the base. Love having a left-handed first baseman for that reason right there, Tommy. And then the flip to Valinkis, who just, man, he is putting some athleticism on display today as well. Showing you all the earmarks of a big league starting pitcher. And one of those is being able to field your position.
Here's Mateo Cerna, the pitch low. I was going to say, as we take a look from Jeff Head's perspective, we see all the scouts in the building today, and as the week progresses and we see more top arms this weekend with the top 4 seeds going, and they can keep their Friday night dudes on schedule, or they could move them to Saturday. If you're going to be a 1 seed, you think, okay, we're going to save them game 1, whatever. I'm getting way ahead of myself.
Sure.
There'll be even more heat in the building as this tournament progresses. Historically, that's how it works. We'll see some general managers in the building on Saturday and Sunday.
I would say by Sunday they might have taken it to the house, because usually the pitching it depends on who would pitch on Sunday. In the past, nobody's still had number 1 left for Sunday. But now the way it's set up that the top seeds can go Friday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, there's a potential for more of that. However, if you're really sitting on a position player, I would think you're going to be here for the majority of the week. I do think the league, as always, is littered with potential first-round picks, and the arms have really made some noise here down the stretch. Kate Townsend's had a tough last couple of starts, but was one of the biggest risers throughout the course of the regular season. And Tegan Coons has made himself some money here in the month of May as well.
Kylie McDaniel put out a mock draft recently. He's got Helfrich as the first SEC player off the board, going 7th overall to the Orioles. And Chris Hakopian from A&M right behind him, going to the A's with the 8th pick. Two balls and 2 strikes to Mateo Cerna, who's grounded out and struck out.
Be interesting here, Tommy. We're at 77 pitches now for Valinkis. There's been kind of a modern trend of the aces only going 50 to 70, it feels like. And I don't know, nothing about Valinkis's performance today says he's pacing himself. I mean, he's been gas pedal down from the jump here this morning.
Yeah, he's running wide open, and he goes to 95 to get a swing and a miss from Cerna. 8th K of the day for Tomas Valinkis.
Fastball up in the zone, 95 miles an hour, right past Cerna. Little fist bump from Valinkis. He's not treating this like a warm-up start. SEC baseball tournament on the SEC network is presented by Regions Bank.
That's great copy. You nailed it. Has the Hoover Met ever looked better?
Ooh, no. Love the outfield.
Banners out front with all the fantastic players. Benintendi was straight helium when he was here. You like the outfield additions with the seating and beyond right field?
That feels SEC-ish.
Yeah, yeah.
To all our ADs out there listening, we need to continue the outfield experiences at the SEC stadiums. It's just, to me, part of what makes the conference so great is how lively it gets out there beyond the home run fences at all these ballparks.
First pitch driven deep left field. George back to the wall. It's gone over both walls for Vitas Valencias. A no-doubter for just his 4th home run of the season.
Vitas doesn't want little bro stealing the spotlight from him. I hear you. And yes, folks, they are brothers, and they do pronounce their name differently. A four-seam fastball. Vitas Valencius goes bridge to left field.
Stallman not happy with this pop-up. George can't find it. Late adjustment, and he gets there in time. So this is the home run. Mr. Valencius goes yard. Mr. Valencius, his brother, with the fist bump / dance move.
Oh, so good.
And it brings Bryce Chance to the plate. What do you think happened with George on that pop-up from Stallman?
Not a time of the day where you typically would lose a ball. I don't know where exactly the sun is, even though it's a pretty cloudy morning here in Hoover, but he clearly didn't see that one. Program record for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. We're hearing that a lot lately, aren't we, Tommy?
Yeah, they set the record all the way back last year.
It is the home run era in college baseball. That is why.
Why though? Because the bats haven't changed, right?
Well, maybe.
Maybe. Chance sends this one into left field.
I'll just go ahead and say it's just the liveliest ball era in the history of the sport. And while the bats are clearly not the same as they were in the late 90s, the players are bigger and stronger. There are way more coaching staffs teaching and encouraging the ball being hit hard in the air. Way more. That is way more prevalent in today's game. The training associated with that is way more prevalent. And the ball is just juicy. That's just all there is to it. It used to be, Tommy, there was only a couple guys on every roster that could really hit the ball at the ballpark, and everybody else was encouraged to hit it low and hard, and there was a lot of the inside game going on. In today's sport, your best offenses, you got 1 through 9 that
Georgia.
are all
Georgia.
Yes, A&M, all the Tennessee home run spurt that they've been on, where they're throwing out 7, 8, 9 guys that all have a chance to hit double-digit homers.
Colby Branch bats 8th for Georgia in most lineups, and last check he had 17 home runs.
17 hits 8th. So yeah, there's multiple reasons, but it is program after program setting their career or their program record for home runs. And of course we had Tate Davis get to 34 this season.
With Louisville, that's a new ACC record. Ryder Woodson watches the pitch upstairs.
And who had said it? J.D. Drew back in the
pitch. See if Mateo Cerna can keep his run going.
A lot on the line here.
Look at how close that is.
I mean, Mateo
the magician. I don't think guys are going to get drafted based on this ability, but I do think as we get deeper into the ABS era, which is here to stay in Major League Baseball, guys like Mateo Cerna, or at least if you're already in the professional ranks, are going to be valued more than they were, just like pitch framers were prior to ABS.
It really is fascinating that could be another data point to evaluate a prospect.
And you can only use that data point with SEC catchers. This is the only place it exists in college baseball. To third, right through the wickets on Patterson into left field. Missouri plays on an all-turf field. If he's getting a turf hop, it comes right to him. Instead, gets under the leather.
Got to play low, Tommy. You got to play the hot corner low, and he's up high, and that ball squeaks right off the lip. And I've got some empathy for that. That is a rough one, and you said it best. If you're on turf, there is no conversation around a lip, but playing on a natural surface, you've got to play that thing low to high. He gets caught out of his stance, and that ball squeaks by him, and now another free base runner for the Bulldogs.
Breaking ball low to Sean James, who was struck out twice.
You're probably not turning two there, but maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, you might be jogging off the field.
Patterson has now started the last 7 games at third base back from injury. He was the early season starter at the hot corner. He's missed significant time. James pokes this one into right field. Chance will be stopped at third, and State has the bases loaded again, just as the Bulldogs did in the 5th.
Pretty nice piece of hitting right there. Nose down, backside bullet, and Mississippi State poised to put a big number on the board here. Just watch him keep that nose down. Great job of the barrel staying through the front part of the hitting zone so you don't roll it over. Carrick Jackson wants to have a talk with his club. Looks like they're going to the bullpen.
Yeah, there'll be just 1 inning of relief work from Sam Roseanne, and undone to the bottom half of the order, going home run, pop out, single, error, single, and the bases will be loaded as Missouri goes right back to the bullpen. And Roseanne's relief will face the same situation he did. Bases loaded, 1 out. Side, an in-depth look from the SEC tournament next Tuesday, 7 Eastern on SEC Network and the ESPN app. Isaiah Salas will take over for Missouri. Freshman from the Woodlands, Texas, 5'11" lefty.
Another one of these young foundational pieces for the Tigers coming in and out of the bullpen. 18th appearance on the season. Done a nice job for a youngster. And he gets the unenviable task of facing the top of this Bulldog lineup with the bases loaded and just 1 out. So a big spot for a freshman to enter into. But again, this is the kind of value you get for still being here. Granted, just 1 win, but I mean, this is a moment this young left-hander is going to be able to draw on throughout his career in Como.
Well, Garrick Fry has been comfortable in this situation. He is 5 for 7 with the bases loaded this year with 9 ribbies. And pulls the breaking ball foul, 0-1. Fry 1 for 3 today with an RBI single.
Slider is the pitch for Salas. 54% whiff rate on that offering, so he's going to go right to it once he gets ahead.
No, hit him. Push in a run. Fry's second RBI.
Boy, the value of not moving. Just hold your ground and make that guy pay for missing his spot on a slider. Tommy, how many guys do you see move out of the way of that low breaking ball and slide their feet. And Garrick Fry just hangs in there. That's a run. That's a ribby. And now bases loaded for one of the baddest dudes in this league.
And Reese fouls the first one back. 0-1.
What's your level of cool on the sunglasses up to bat? Like that's a high cool meter, right?
Yes.
Okay.
At this level, I think we've got some. It has a ceiling, though.
Well, I mean, Helton used to be famous for. Vinny Castilla used to rock those. There's been some like scary big leaguers. They used to roll up there with the M-frame Oakleys down.
Mm-hmm. You better be good in
yes.
the big leagues to rock the look.
Yes.
That's my only.
That's right. David Duvall kind of made him famous on the golf course. Remember that?
It'd be like earning skins in a video game, right? Like you can't just buy the cool. You gotta hit a couple of levels and then earn it.
Ace Reese has certainly earned that. Good take. So the book on Reese is get the ball away from him and don't miss in. You'll be able to be very careful here on a 3-1 count. Walk doesn't kill you, but a salami might just be the nail.
He's actually hitting better from average perspective against lefties and righties this year.
And that's a big chase right there, Tommy. A 3-1 fastball that wasn't really particularly close. That's just a classic case of a hitter trying to do too much.
6 for 11 with 1 grand slam with the bases loaded. And he yanks it down the line. Last midweek of the year for State, Reese had a big one against Nichols, went 4 for 5 with 2 home runs. Tied for 3rd in the league with 20 home runs. Top 5 in RBI. Bases loaded. Staying alive.
You can see Reese really wants to get that barrel out. He's done most of his damage from a home run perspective. Middle pull. And, you know, we saw him chase earlier in the count. He seems to be out in front. I'd go back to the breaking ball here. Got him in swing mode. You have to use that to your advantage. He's gone out of the strike zone a couple times. Can Salas start one middle away and bend it off the edge?
They off with the bases juiced against the shift. Pulled foul. Fifth in the country, hitting .289 when the count is full.
Okay. Okay. I'm here for it. Let's nerd out a little bit. He's giving us time. Ace Reese is enjoying his at bat. See, this is what I like to tell young hitters. What are you in such a hurry for? Don't roll over on the first pitch. Hang around a while. You only get 4 of them a game.
Making Salas work. Just off the plate. Didn't go. A walk drives in a run. A hit batter a moment ago, and now a walk to Reese.
That's the pitch he's been trying to throw every time he's spun a breaking ball. Did the barrel pass? The rule says the front hip. I always like to say, does it pass his hands? Wow, that could have gone either way. Derek Malika rules in favor of Ace Reese, and now the Tigers still have their hands full.
And Noah Sullivan pops up the first. Coming in is Seals.
Oh, he didn't see it.
Lost it. It skids by and not quite over his head, but to the side. And State gets a run home on a fly ball to right.
This is twice this inning, Tommy. Now, one of them they still caught. But, boy, is this bizarre. Pierre Seals, Tommy, when this ball's hit, check him out. He looks at Pierre. Like he starts to come in and look, he's kind of checking over at Pierre like he's got no idea. And that is that would have been a sac fly. But it goes for a knock for Noah Sullivan. And, man, it's been a rough one for the Tigers here.
It's now a 4-run sixth. The wheels are coming off. Jacob Parker, ninth batter of the inning, goes down the line, and Patterson makes the play. But that's a productive out on the first pitch, swinging for Parker, driving home fry.
Nice play there by Chris Patterson. It's been a rough morning for him, but that was one heck of a play.
You like swinging at the first in that scenario?
You better love what you're swinging at. A first pitch breaking ball at the end of the bat is not what you're looking for. And nothing wrong with going up there sitting on a breaking ball, but you certainly don't want to cue it to the third baseman. Kind of a young at bat there from Jacob Parker.
Well, this inning started with the 4th home run of the season for Vitas Valencias. 394-foot shot to left. It's the second time he's homered in a game where his brother was the starting pitcher. Despite being brothers and playing the same sport, they haven't played on the same team a heck of a lot. They both transferred in Illinois and Virginia respectively. Played on the Lithuanian national team a couple of times as teenagers. So cool opportunity for them both this season. And he drives another one deep to left field. It's his second of the inning. This one counts for 3, and the Bulldogs are barking here in the 6th. .813 feet of home runs for him, this friend. That's pretty good.
3 on the season, Tommy, and now he's got 5. He came into the inning with 3, and now he has 5. A fastball right down Broadway, and this sucker is compressed. A no-doubter, 111 miles an hour off the bat, and a rocket out to the gap. Now here's the best part about the names. The mom likes to say Valencias. So the Mama Valencias, this is a morning she will not soon forget. Her boys are starring in this one.
And Tomas could have a complete game now with a 10-run lead here after 6.
Do they run him out there for one more? He's top stepping it. This is not your starting pitcher that's like, leave me alone during my start.
Right.
But again, when you go full layout on the gravel in front of the other team's dugout to start the game, you pretty much at that point have established you're not your prototypical starting pitcher. This dude, just look at the energy this guy has, man. He is just bouncing around the dugout.
Did he go? He did. And Stallman is thinking about challenging it, but waited too long anyway. 11 to the plate for Mississippi State in the 6th. 8 runs to show for it in a double-digit lead. SEC Baseball Tournament on the SEC Network is presented by Regions Bank, the official bank of the SEC. Well, by any name, it's a big day for the brothers. It won't be a complete game for Tomas, though. 12-2 victory and run rule in effect, so 3 outs away for State to finish this off.
Tomas Valinkas, this is his day. Okay, we started it out with a layout Louis into the other dugout. We're bleeding. We're showing off our athleticism. PFP star in this ball game. You know, Justin Parker, the pitching coach, Mississippi State, having a ball, watching his ace out there running around like an athlete, still showing off his. See, dude, it's all cut up. Check that out.
Look how tough I am.
Look how tough I am. I didn't even blink. No walks, 8 Ks, 5 hits, and his brother decided to hit 2 home runs in 1 inning. And it has been the Valencius show.
It's honestly one of the weirdest things ever. Here's
It's
Ben
so
Davis. 23rd appearance, 50 strikeouts in 36 innings. You got Jordan Pierre and George due up.
Love the 2-seamer here by Ben Davis. He can manipulate that thing as well as anybody in this league.
By the way, there have been in the last season plus, there have been 2 State hitters to homer in the same inning. They both come against Missouri. Last year it was Hunter Hines. Vandy and Florida coming up next. Outside, 2-2.
That's what you get with Davis. He can start it off the plate to right-handers that run it back, and then he can start it on the plate and slide it off. Missed with that one as he was trying the backdoor 2-seamer, but it's kind of an old school style of the old sinker slider to both sides of the plate, and he does it with premium velocity as well.
Jordan with a pop-up and a fly-out. And a leadoff walk for Mizzou. Dari Jarrett and Todd are locked in and ready down the right field line. And ready to bring you SEC Now between games.
What's up, fellas?
Todd somehow avoided traffic. Make it here. His RV is probably 80 yards from, well, maybe 150 from the set.
There is some golf cart traffic, Tommy, to navigate.
It is real rich people problems.
You know, I mean, it's not all peaches and cream out there in the RV lot.
Here's Jamal George, a AA team I worked for outside of Knoxville in Sevierville had a KOA campground behind the right field wall up on the hill, and at the end of the season, new management had taken over for the Blue Jays. Everybody knew they were getting fired, and the hitting coach, who was never late, strolled in 2 hours late. He lived for the summer in the campground 50 feet away, and the manager says, where you been? And without breaking stride, he said, sorry, Skip, got stuck in traffic. My last day, we'll be fine. 0-1 to George, fouled off. Missouri needs a run to keep this game going. Otherwise, a mercy rule for State, up 10. And it's the bottom half of the order for Carrick Jackson's squad. And a sinker he's throwing at 95?
Yep. 95, 96, and a cutter slider, 88, 90. Double play is always in play when Davis is on the mound. Just doesn't need to be so fine.
Yeah.
Looks like he's really trying to nibble at that edge. Boy, if I had that kind of movement on a 95 to 97 mile an hour sinker, I'd be just middle away and let that thing run down and into the right-handers.
And there it is. Chance for two. Scooped up by Reese to second for one. Just a hair late on the turn from Fry.
That was really pretty by Ace Reese. This is not an easy play. Love the...
Mississippi State is challenging the safe call at first base.
Love the conviction to come charge the big hop. Watch, come get this thing early. Boom, play it off one, throw off your right foot, and then Fry hangs in there on a tough feed and throws a dart. That was nice on both ends. Come get it. Set your second baseman up. Not a perfect feed.
After review, the runner is out at
The runner is out. It's a double play to end the inning and to end the game. And State with a run rule victory, 12-2 to finish this one up. The V brothers, the stars of the show.
That was a fun one. Sixth inning kind of changed the complexion of that one. An 8 spot by Hail State in the 6th, and special day for the Valinkas brothers.
Can you call them Valinkas or should you call them Valencias?
I'm just going with
the V brothers.
Yeah, the V's. The Killer V's.
The Killer V's. We have shortened it. Mississippi State shortened this game. A 7-inning run rule victory. They get the #1 seed, the regular season champs, Georgia, tomorrow afternoon to start our action, which will be afternoon at 4 Eastern instead of the morning. And still to come, Florida and Vanderbilt. Valencius with the win. He's now 10-2 on the season. Kellenbrink gets tagged with the loss and falls to 3-10. A 7-run rule victory for Mississippi State. Missouri's season ends here in Hoover. 5th team eliminated. We'll get you to SEC now. They'll break down this one. They may just talk with the V brothers or Coach Brian O'Connor. State lives to play another day. We'll see you in about 30 minutes for our next game.
Okay.